I look at you and you're young, you're smart, you're outspoken, you're critical. I mean, would you say you're a typical Malaysian? I mean, what kind of education have you had or influences in your life that made you who you are now? I mean,
I think, you know, I'm a typical Malaysian in the sense that there's so many smart, bright, progressive young Malaysians who are really, who deeply believe and who are committed to change, who are committed to a better Malaysia. So I'm just lucky to be given this opportunity because of my background.
How were you educated? What kind of education did you have?
I went to a part missionary school, the girls, Asunta Girls School, and
missionary. That sounds like a nun.
Yes, we had a lot of nuns running about in school, in high school. My best friend was Catholic. I learned so much from that experience. I think that shaped me as a person. When they keep saying Anwar Ibrahim is a firebrand Muslim activist, some of the criticisms, I said, well, he did allow his daughter to frequent part missionary school, and we had a huge cross in the hall, and I think that's a testament to his commitment to freedom of religion, to just allowing for this influx of influences. And I think from then on, I did my first degree in electrical electronics engineering. After that, I decided to pursue a master's in international relations, and that really
which is in abroad,
which was in Washington, School for Advanced International Studies, Johns Hopkins, and I think that was really important as well because it changed me working with human rights groups, working with real life issues. I'm sure you as a journalist, you feel the same way. It's just different going back to a life of engineering. I think I just couldn't do that anymore.
Nurul's father, Anwar bin Ibrahim, served as Malaysian Deputy Prime Minister in 1993 to 1998 and was a long-time and close ally of the Prime Minister of the time, Mahathir Mohamad. But subsequently, he emerged as the most prominent critic of Mahathir's government. In 1999, Anwar Ibrahim was sentenced to 6 years in prison for corruption, and in 2000, his sentence was increased to another 9 years for sodomy. He was released in 2004 after the judges found contradictions in the prosecution's case over the sodomy conviction. Controversy continued to dog him after he was released, however, and I wondered what sort of impact her father's unsavory trials and tribulations have had on Nurul as a person and how they have affected her views on politics and the world.
Politics, come on, it's a dirty business. I mean, look at what happened to your father, and it's especially you as a young woman. But why enter politics?
I think it's important to put it in perspective. Yes, it can be dirty, especially with regards to who is actually advocating the kind of politics that's going to take place. If you have leaders who advocate gutter politics, certainly it's going to be dirty, but it's human beings that shape the nature of politics. And I believe if there's more people who are determined to change the political discourse, then it will be changed. And for me, politics is the vocation that allows you to implement real reforms. It's the highest form of implementing change in any democratic country.
What is the definition of a better Malaysia for you?
For me, Malaysia that really upholds laws, that is enshrined and in line with the federal constitution. A Malaysia that allows for all Malaysians to freely and fairly have access to the economic opportunities in the country and not be strangled or even controlled by the executive in terms of the political arena. I mean, you should actually enjoy the country's development. You should enjoy the space, the greater democratic space in the country. And I believe that we've outlined the steps in trying to create a better Malaysia. I mean, at least I have. There's a few projects that I do. It's all in line with my objective. And I think it's important to just keep tabs. What needs to be done, we're getting there, step by step.
So, Indonesia, we've had our reforms in '98, and now we see what's happening in the Middle East and Tunisia and Egypt. And what about Malaysia? I mean, if anything, don't you feel that some momentum has been lost in the last
sadly, I mean, of course, every country will go through its own trajectory, its own path. And, I would love for Malaysia to really unleash our own potential. But I believe, and I'm hopeful for the future. I think right now, perhaps arrested reform, yes, especially after 04.
But what is stopping the country? I mean, like you said, there's so many young people like you who want change, who want to go ahead.
For me, the fundamental problem is a flawed election process. I mean, we have a first past the post system. And there's many fraudulent practices that have been highlighted by watchdog groups, especially the Coalition for Free and Fair Elections. So during election time, the incumbent naturally will have a lot of benefits to ensure it continues to win. And of course, you have control for more than 54, 55 years, the same party. There's no incentive to implement real reforms. It's at most a facade. So for me, our biggest challenge is to ensure that our electoral process right now in Sarawak, there's a state election looming, and we're trying to get observers to come so that the process becomes more transparent, more fair. Transparency International Malaysia, one of the director board members, said that even Malaysia's election commission is partisan. So if you have those kind of situations, how can you expect reform to take place?
But what are the challenges that you face, you as an opposition party, you as a woman, you as someone perhaps very outspoken and critical of the present government? What kind of challenges are you facing in trying to get these views across?
Well, of course, there's the clampdown of the media. Almost all mainstream media in Malaysia are either directly or indirectly controlled by the component parties of the ruling coalition. So naturally,
they wouldn't give you this kind of interview, for example, in Malaysia.
I mean, it's almost an impossibility. And if they do cover, it'll be heavily censored, and the issues brought about is very limited. So how then do we communicate our messages? Then we have public rallies, which require police permits, especially for gatherings up to more than 5 persons. So there's that even rule and the legislation, and even in Parliament, it's merely a rubber stamp. But even then, so the room or the avenues presented to us is very limited. And I think instead of giving or discouraging us, it has made us feel much stronger and more resolved to changing the way things are. How much longer can you survive? Come on, with Egypt taking place, Malaysia, we can't live like this anymore. That's ridiculous.